Hello everybody, my name is Isabelle Pavelic and I am the Human Resource Director of Veolia Water Technologies. I am very pleased to launch this first podcast of VWT dedicated to the 2021 International Women's Day. International Women's Day is an opportunity to evaluate the current situation of women in the world and more specifically in the workplace. For this special occasion, I am pleased to welcome in Visioconference 4 representatives of VWT, women and men, from different geographical areas. In this first part, we will discuss their general feeling about this day and the place of women in the workplace. I'm therefore very pleased to welcome Rana Aoun, CFO of VWT Middle East, Brandy Nussbaum, Sales Manager at Anox-Kalnes VWT Sweden, Fabiano Gittis, Project Execution Director in VWT Latam, Brazil, and Benoît Gagné, CEO of VWT Canada. Hello everybody and welcome to this first podcast of Veolia Water Technologies.
My first question is very simple. What does this day mean to you? Has it become part of everyday life? Does it generate a particular reaction? And do you think it is still necessary to have a day dedicated to women? Perhaps we will give the floor first to a man. Benoît, could you tell us your opinion?
Yes, for sure. So, good morning, good afternoon, or good night. I hope you're doing well. I would say absolutely yes. I mean, it's not just one day. We can say that to allows us to raise awareness about the fight for gender parity. There's also other dates like June 23rd, which is the International Day of Women in Engineering in Canada. December 6th, which is unfortunately remind us the violence against women and a tragedy, really a tragedy of the Polytechnic School in Montreal, which I would say several of my colleagues of VWT Canada and I personally have experienced, and it's probably the one that is most deeply rooted in me.
Thank you, Benoît, and it is very linked with the Canada context. Fabiano, perhaps a point for Latin America?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Isabel. So, hello, everyone. I think that in Latin America, the rate of violence against women, including domestic violence, is very, very high. So, and when it comes to job opportunities, pay, labor policies, and so on, Latin America is still far behind many other developed regions. So, I think that there is still a lot to be done around here in order to lower the violence rates and to reach the gender equality. So, and I think that the Women's Day still plays, and I think we will continue playing a very crucial role in this fight around here in Latin America.
Thank you so much, Fabiano, for this point. If I come back to Brandy and to Rana, do you have another point of view on this subject? Have you observed a change in the feeling of this day over times? As I should outline that this day has been officially existence for 44 years in the United Nations eyes. So did you see some change on the way this day is received? Brandy, perhaps?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Isabel. And thank you for having me join this podcast. To be honest, I was also surprised by the 44 years. I actually had no idea it had been so long. I personally have been working in this industry for more than 20 years, 18 of those with Veolia. To be honest, I don't even really remember being that aware of the fact that there was this International Women's Day until maybe the last 10 years or so. For me, I'm not sure if Women's Day was the cause, but I've definitely observed a change in our industry from how it was when I first entered. I believe there's much, much more awareness now, and I believe this is a result produced by strong, competent women mentors and leaders, as much as it is by having a day of recognition. And we need our women leaders and the generations that they represent to be present, visible, and heard every day. But we also need the strong support and voices of our male counterparts across the organization.
So this day is still very useful. Rana, in the Middle East?
So I just want to add, in the Middle East, it's slightly slow than the other region. This day is only celebrated in multinational companies. It is not yet popular on a larger scale. So that's why, for me, I think it is important to have this day dedicated to women, just to have the opportunity to acknowledge that there is still a lot to be done in terms of gender equality in the region.
Thank you. So this podcast makes sense still today. Has this day brought about concrete change in your life, professional or personal? And if not, what caused change in your life? Brandy?
Sure, thanks. I'm happy to take that again, Isabel. It feels like a long time ago I started in this industry. I was quite young, and being young and a woman in a technical position definitely brought about some challenges. But definitely in the last 20 years, the workforce in this industry has changed a lot. Where I once felt maybe odd or unique or different, it's really no longer the case. And of course, it's different from region to region. I appreciate that. But I can see that the industry is filled with strong women leaders. But even more so, there's definitely an insurgence of young technical women. But for me personally, I grew up in a way that didn't discriminate on gender. I was raised on a farm with no brothers. So there was definitely no gender assigned to tasks. Whether it was baking bread or helping fix the farm machinery, the work had to be done. So I realized that not all young women have this type of childhood. So we need to find other ways to encourage the breakdown of the stereotypes. Everyone should feel supported and encouraged to enter whatever area of interest they have, regardless of these historical biases.
Okay, thank you so much, Brandy. And it shows that the education and the way we are taking care of our children has also its impact. Rana, does this day change something in your professional life?
In my professional life, no, I don't think that this day brought changes. It's more like the chance of working in a multinational company where I got proper trainings. If you want, it's like the result of a continuous managerial support, which of course a lot of hard work from my side.
Okay, thank you.
If you want, however, on the personal level, if you want both or only the professional one?
Well, let's go, both.
Okay, so for the personal side, yes, it caused a lot of changes. Because when I listen to interviews done by working women, it motivates me, and it reduces the guilt feeling that I have towards my family. In fact, there is a lot of pressure coming from the society on us, and we end up feeling as if we have to choose between our family and our career. So in my case, no, I don't want to choose. I want them both.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I just noticed that feeling guilty is not specifically for women. It is a feeling which could be shared by men also. So choosing and both, that means professional and personal life is not actually is not a question of men or women, not Benoit?
Well, in fact, I think we have different, which is good, different vision. I mean, in what Rana said and Brandy and me personally, I mean, it was I was lucky. I was lucky in a way, in a sense that all through my careers, I'm starting at the university. I mean, I was surrounded by a good balance, woman and men balance, and as an example, in the chemical engineer at Polytechnic School, there was only one class, 30 students, but 50% of women. Okay, so and my partner, my study partner, was a woman too. So that was great. And when I move on to VWT years after, I was still surrounded by women, because when I took the lead of the technical services and I was in charge of field service, like startup and piloting. The amazing thing is that I had more women to recruit than men, and it was supposed to be more a men job, apparently, but that was not the case at all. And they were great. They were excellent. It was very surprising, I think. And personally, in my own family, I'm also lucky because I have two nice children, a boy and a girl.
So balanced.
So well balanced too.
Okay. Thank you, Benoit. If we come back to connect with the professional sphere, can you tell us if you felt that being a man or a woman has affected you in either a position you have had or have today? Rana?
Yes, sure. Being a woman in extremely dominated male environment made me face a lot of difficulties, in fact, such as being accepted by the team members, by colleagues, by customers, by the suppliers. And even sometimes it was really difficult to make my opinion credible during meetings led by a majority of men. I had sometimes to repeat my questions many times just to be listened to. But these challenges can be overcome just by working hard, by having proper attitude, so by the experience. So for me, I think women should choose a job that they like and be ready to fight, of course, in a smart way to reach their goals.
But don't you think that one day the aim is not to be able to fight?
Exactly. This is what we are trying to reach. But we're still far, at least in Lebanon and in the region.
Okay, thank you, Rana. Brandy, does that have an effect on your position today or in the past?
Yes, absolutely. I remember I remember so distinctly those early years when I would walk into a presentation when I was still very young and I was going in to present Actiflow. And I would walk into a presentation and the table would more or less be surrounded by middle-aged white men. And that was scary, intimidating. And you can't help but for sure feel self-doubt in those situations. But I guess that, many young men in a similar position, they would probably feel the same way. So it's not unique, I don't think, to just being a woman. Being young is also a challenge, starting up a career and working in a different industry. But when you have the job to do, of course, you find a way to persevere. And there's no better way to level the playing field, whether it's gender related or language related or cultural related or whatever, than by being really good at what you do. I don't believe that I've ever used my gender as an excuse or a crutch. And I prefer to see myself, as Reina was saying, for my strengths and my talents. And I'm sure that some of that talent is unique to the fact that I'm a woman. And if I could just end with one sort of funny anecdote, I would say that one funny thing about being a woman in a man's industry is, which is quite different than many other places, is that you don't find long lines at the women's bathroom. At least not used to. Now you find many, many more women at the toilet in today than you did when I first started out. But for sure, you find many more lines at the men's bathroom in a men-dominated industry. So that's a little bit of a funny anecdote, I would say. So.
Thank you, Brandy. I think there is one point which is key in your testimony, that okay, having doubts is quite normal when you are young, as a man or as a woman. When you are beginning your professional life, it is rather sane to have some doubts, actually. What is a little bit more questioning is having to struggle to be listened. So what Rana told us, I would like to know, Benoit, how do you feel that? Do you think that that being a man has affected you in position or not?
Well, it's not an easy question to answer because being a man, you know what I mean. It's kind of a opportunistic approach in a way that I was lucky enough to have that opportunity in VWT, and yes, because it was a lot of men surrounding me. I mean, when we had the opportunity to grow, there was not a lot of women in the company, and I mean, I was lucky enough to let's say to grow from step one. It's like a scale, you know, and that was it. I mean, but when I had the chance, I would say, and I repeat that, but I think it's important when I had the chance to hire people. I mean, for me, I mean, we wanted to have more women. I mean, that was obvious, and that's what we did when we were able to do it. We did that, but it's the pool of women that it's not. The pool is not enough big, you know, and that's maybe a challenge.
Yeah, thank you so much, Benoit. Coming back to you, Rana, what happened in your mind when you accept a certain position in your past or your current one? What triggered you to accept a certain position?
Many things triggered me to accept my ambition, the fact that I like exploring new challenges, higher responsibilities, working with new colleagues, new team, building new skills. But despite all those positive points, it was not easy to move, to apply to a new position, to move from my comfort zone. Always not sure if I will be up to the requirements of the new position.
Sorry
Yes.
to cut you, but do you think these feelings would have been different if you have been a man?
Yes, I think so. At least I feel it within my team and within my colleagues and my husband. Yes, I think they when they want to take the job, they will not look at how much skills they need to have it. They will say, okay, I will take the risk, I will jump, and I will see what will happen later on. But concerning me, no, I wanted to be sure 100% that I will be up to the to the requirement of the new job. So yes, I think it will be different if I were a man.
So it is also linked with the self-confidence, actually.
Yes, it is.
On the other hand, Brandy, do you think that being a woman could bring an advantage in your current position? And if yes, why? I mean,
yeah, first of all, I'd just like to say that I completely agree with Reina. I think it's very natural women have these more self-doubts, and I think it's actually been shown in quite a few different studies as well. But in terms of some advantages, I mean, I think so. I mean, we are different, right? And so there are some advantages or things that make us different that bring these advantages. But the answer I might give might be a little bit surprising to you. It's not maybe standard reasons that you might normally think about. But it's something that I've observed. Whether it's right or whether it's wrong, it's something that I've observed over my career in this industry, in a way that women have some advantage over men. I think you might be surprised to hear, but what I have observed is that I think men often get stereotyped into one type of position in this industry, actually. For example, a man who has always been behind a desk or like a more typical white collar position might find it difficult to be accepted on a construction site. And maybe his point of view would not be taken as seriously. But my own personal experience, as well as what I have seen, I believe this is easier for a woman. I don't really have a good reason why, but I think that women are able to sort of fit into the different situations or adopt different personas to fit the situation. And I'm not advocating that we're trying to be false or that we're acting in a bad way. It's just that it's somehow easier for us to adapt, or maybe the situation, or maybe men are easier to accept that we change the way that we are for the situation that we're working in. I mean, I have seen it, women going from a construction site to a boardroom. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I'm not sure that you see it quite as much, or maybe with as much acceptance on the men's side. I could be right or wrong. This is simply an observation that I've had from my own personal experience and things that I have seen. So
perhaps it is not linked with the fact to be a man or a woman, but to the skills of being able to adapt to a new context and to other people.
Yeah, and actually, I guess that's actually the message, right? Isn't it, Isabel? To be able to adapt and to bring a solid skill set of talent to your job, and being able to adapt. I think it's very important. And maybe it is that women have a little bit more capability to adapt in these situations. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but just something I have observed.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, all of you, to be so open in your answers.
It was very interesting to have your impression on whether a dedicated day to women is still relevant. Next time, we will find out which actions have been put in place within water technologies and our challenges for the future.